If the scoreboard told the whole story, sports would be simple. Every score is shaped by preparation, pressure, and leadership. Welcome to the culture of the game.
This is where sports meets leadership.
and real conversations about what drives winning.
So get ready for our takes behind the tape. Here we go.
Okay, we got three guys, Brandon, Parker, and Blair. Talking sports too clean, bringing heat on the air. Yeah, they're moving with purpose, not for fame. Yeah, why they changed the culture of the game. They're moving with purpose, not for fame. Yeah, why they changed the culture of the game. Why they changed the culture of the game.
All right, once again, welcome to the culture of the game, our takes behind the tape. Listen, we're so excited for you to join us today for our very first episode one of the culture of the game. Listen, we're going to jump right in. Blair, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Parker, and yourself?
Doing good. Brandon, what about you?
Doing all right. Good to see y'all, fellas.
Hey, this is an exciting time, sports time. Of course, it's the first day of the NCAA tournament. We'll get to that tonight for our second episode. But while we're here, I'm sure many of you want to know exactly why do we start. So we're going to start with our first segment, which is going to be entitled throughout our shows, the opening tip off. We're ready for the opening tip off. All right. So for the opening tip off today, we're going to answer a question that people have been asking, and I'm sure that probably you want to ask. And that is, why did we start this show? And what perspective do we bring? Again, I've been asked, why did we start this show? And what perspective did we bring? Um, to be honest with you, we started this show because of our love for sports. We're all fans. We're all sports fans. We love sports. All of us are parents of athletes. We're former athletes. And but we also believe that there's a deeper story to sports behind the game. Fans see highlights and scores, but winning teams are usually built on leadership, preparation, chemistry, and culture. And so we just want to elaborate on that and dig deeper into why we want to get into the culture of the game. Brandon, why don't you take this? What do you got to say about this?
Yeah, exactly, Joseph. I mean, we've been in the group chat for a long time, and we're kind of going to reveal the chat to you all and just explain our love for the game, but not just what's on the field, but the coaching, the team building that goes into it, the motivation, all the things that we've experienced as former coworkers, we can relate to, and we want to share our thoughts about how these things work.
That's
Y-
good. That's good.
though, something else with all those chats that we've had, it's also about cracking each other up because
Mm.
sometimes we just say the silliest, dumbest things. Usually it's me, but honestly, it's about us just really having fun and taking what we did in text and bringing it to a live form and just sharing it with folks we think will hopefully find it just as funny as we do.
Absolutely. That's good, Blair. That's good as well, Brandon. Listen, I want to follow up with that and just ask Blair, jump in. What do fans miss when they only focus on the scoreboard?
You know, it reminds me. I was listening to the NFL channel years ago, and Pat Kerwin said, "What you miss when you just focus on the ball." There's so many different things. Basketball, if you're just focusing on the player who's bringing the ball up, you're missing how everyone's setting up the play. In football, if you're just focusing on the quarterback with the ball, you're missing the routes being run, the blocks being laid down, the plays as they develop. You just focus on that one thing, you're missing everything else. So we're going to help you try and find what it's like to just see the game through different eyes.
That's good. That's good. Brandon?
Well, I think a lot of times when you're just focusing on the field, you're not really seeing the blood, sweat, and tears that these players go through and what motivates them. And oftentimes we hear about the contracts, we hear about free agency, we hear about rookies trying to develop under veterans. These things all have an impact on the game itself. It's about the team building, the culture. These are the things that really drive their performance on the field. So I think it's important to look beyond just the baskets that are made or the passes thrown or other facets of the game. I think really looking beyond that is going to provide a lot of information and detail and help you not just become a fan, but really an informed fan, the type of fan that we like to interact with.
That's good. That's good. Listen, I totally agree with both of you all on that. I want to ask as well, just so we can give the audience a deeper dive into what we're doing, why we're going this route. What leadership lesson from sports shows up in everyday life, Brandon?
Wow. I think, I think the leadership that I see comes from a lot of times what your best talent is able to provide. Not only from what they are able to do from a performance standpoint, but also character and leadership. And you're seeing a great example of it in the NBA. You're seeing guys like Shea Gilgis Alexander, Nikola Jokic, being great leaders for their teams. What really impresses me is Wembyama. I
Yeah.
mean, this guy, what, 21, 22 years old. He already went way overseas to see the monks. He came back with a serious mindset and wanted to dominate. And I think he's showing the importance of somebody who takes the job seriously. Now,
Yeah.
conversely, look at the lack of leadership the Memphis Grizzlies have. They're my favorite basketball team. I love those guys. But they should have been a team that maybe was on the precipice of a championship. Instead, they're rebuilding again. Why is that? No leadership. Our best player, just questionable decisions continuously, doesn't have a positive attitude, and it has just affected the team to the point where we have to change. So I look at leadership and I think those are important qualities that you must have right now in the NBA, but I think in most sports if you want to be competitive.
That's good. That's good. Blair, jump in here, man. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, and I think it's a lesson we all learned from one of our former employers, and the CEO that was there. He used to talk about servant leader and never understood what that meant. And basically, it's just someone who leads and works to develop others ahead of their own development. So, I look at, some of our big name players like Steph Curry, he's taking guys like Pajemski and all them under his wing and teaching them how to really warm up for the game. It's not just like you see these kids just hoisting up threes. No, it's come on the court, you know, work through the drills, dribble with the tennis ball in one hand or, and then have, the ball going against the wall, whatever it is. My guy here, Bam Adebayo, I was reading an article that was actually in the Post, the New York Post, about Keyshawn Johnson. He talks about how this guy, Bam, always takes him under his wing and holds people accountable. It really comes down to how that particular leader on the
Hmm.
court, in the workplace, in the front office, how they lead. That's the way the rest of the organization goes.
That's good. That's good. I totally agree with both of you all with this. I think that as it pertains to leadership lessons from sports, as far as everyday life, I think um, the aspect of working together, of or convincing people or trying to will them to work together is something that we see. Just in case you all didn't know, we're all three HR guys, former co-workers together, and we see this in the workplace as well as in everyday life. So that's what I would say about it as well. All right, guys. All right, that's segment one. That's segment one. Let's get ready for segment two. You all, you ready? You ready? All
I'm
right.
ready. Let's rock it.
Segment two, as we go throughout our journey with the culture of the game, is going to be entitled "The Breakdown." The breakdown. Don't start dancing, Blair. Please don't start dancing. Don't start dancing. All right, all right. For this, I'm going to start with you, Blair. I want to ask you a question. What do fans misunderstand most about winning teams?
I think it comes down to the dedication these players, coaches, and front offices put towards wanting to win. Everyone's on the same page. So fans just think, oh, it's Steph, it's LeBron, it's the best player, it's Giannis, these guys, as long as you got them, or you got Tom Brady on your team. Well, Tom Brady's a whole different, he's the unicorn of sports. But even then, it's Patrick Mahomes. We got all these guys. They're going to make us win. It's not like that. It's team ball. Maybe a guy like Steph can help a team become better because it's a smaller group of guys. But ultimately, what winning teams do, it's consistency, it's good coaching, it's good leadership.
Agree.
It's understanding that everyone has a role. And, though you might want the ball like we all did in high school or wherever we may have played in our lives, it's all about realizing, hey, there's guys out that are always better than me. At some point, there's going to be someone better than Steph and better than LeBron. Maybe not Michael, but, it just comes down to how does that organization really build themselves? And it's what folks got to realize. It's not just about that guy or that girl.
Yeah. That's a good take. I also think that many fans believe that winning is mostly about talent, but winning teams again succeed because of discipline, communication, and role clarity as well. So
Exactly.
what do you think about that, Brandon?
I mean, you guys are hitting the nail on the head. I think what you're hitting at the end, Blair, and kind of what you said there, Joseph, with role clarity is really about sacrifice.
Yeah.
When you talk about professional teams in sports, these players were the best at their position, probably the best on their team throughout their entire lives.
Yeah.
And you talk about a basketball team, you're putting five guys together who maybe they were the best player on their college team. And now they have to acknowledge who that best player is. And it's not always easy. And how do you fit your game around them? Talk about Steph Curry. I think about a young guy from Memphis, James Wiseman. And I don't know if he ever was able to adapt his game, but he needed to understand you're the one who's going to have to change, not Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So can you sacrifice? Can you be a defender? Can you rebound?
Yeah.
Can you set screens for Steph Curry? Because he's the one getting 20 shots a game.
Yeah.
No, we're not throwing you the ball in the post. You're setting the screen for me so I can shoot a jumper. So I think the biggest thing is sacrificing for the greater good of the team. And it's difficult. Let's think about the Lakers and where they are with that right now. They're playing better.
Yeah.
But for a minute there with Luka, Reeves, and James, like who's going to play defense?
Right.
Who's going to set the screen? Who's going to pass the ball? If you can't figure that out, then you're not going to be successful. So maybe Reddick is getting some through there now, but the most underrated thing to me is sacrificing for the greater good of the team.
Yeah, Brandon, you picked my brain because I was going to say, Luka is he the guy who's going to take people to the next level? I don't know, but that was the right example. Just what can he pull for winning teams, and his attitude translate to wins.
Right.
Wait a minute, Blair. Wait a minute, Brandon. Wait a minute. Did he just call out JJ Redick?
But Blair, go ahead. Can you tell us who your second favorite college basketball team is? Because we really we don't care about Georgia. So what's the other team you root for?
At all.
The Duke Blue Devils, baby.
There he is. And you just heard somebody who actually roots for Duke, you all. So.
And he called out JJ Redick. Okay. All right.
JJ's got to make some moves there. He's got to prove himself a little bit more.
So speaking of proving yourself, is winning more about talent or preparation?
We talked about something. I was on it's about preparation, but Brandon had brought up a good point, and I know he'll expand on this.
Yeah.
But I think it's a mix of the talent and prep. You guys kind of changed my opinions a little bit. I still think you can be successful with maybe underachievers if you can lead them on to greater things. I mentioned, Dan Hurley did that with the folks there at Connecticut. Even over the years, Spo has done that. But honestly, you got to have some talent. I think preparation can take you to almost the pinnacle, but it's like they always say, at the fourth quarter, you need that guy who's the go-to guy. You need the MJ, you need the Curry, you need the LeBron, you need that guy. You need Patrick Mahomes. I mean, again, I'm a Chargers fan, and here I am talking about Mahomes, but I will admit to greatness when I see it. And even though I don't like the Chiefs, I don't like Mahomes because he is a Chief. The guy can still play, and I have seen him light up the Chargers when I'm like, oh man, we got him 4th and 25, and what does he do? He gets 27, and then they go on and score the go ahead. That kills me. But talent, man, talent's there, but without preparation, you can't get to that highest level.
Yeah. So would y'all agree that talent matters, but preparation often determines outcomes in close games?
I'd agree with that.
I think so, Joseph. I think, when I think about the preparation side of things, I think that's where the Belichick Patriots were at their best.
Yeah.
He didn't always have the best talent, but his preparation, his flexibility, he could change game plans depending on the team they played. He didn't just stay with one style. I think that was critical, but I'm a big believer in talent. I mean, we all have played sports, and imagine being on the football field. You did looked at all the film, you scouted, you knew all the plays, and then Randy Moss comes across from you. Guess what? Guess what's going to happen? He's going to run right by you. So ultimately, the talent is the differentiator. It's what's going to create that space and distance that allows a team to really be strong. But if you can take both and have that preparation, the talent together, that's what's going to build a championship team. I think that's really the difference. I hats off to the Seattle Seahawks. I wasn't too familiar with their coach, but he clearly was excellent at preparing the defense, and they had plenty of talent, really both sides of the ball. And they were able to win. So if you can do both, that's great. But if I had to choose, let me get the talent, and we'll work on it.
I hear you. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Now I'm going to ask another question. Now we're going to move forward, and it might get a little dicey, y'all. So hold on, because that's when our arguments start. In every sport, well, in most sports, a lot of sports, you have what you call a challenge flag, all right? And so, or you can issue a challenge, and this is going to be our third segment. It's going to be the challenge flag, all right? So throughout the journey again of the culture of the game, we're going to be throwing some challenge flags, all right? Oh goodness, Blair got one. All right. So tonight, today actually, I want to ask talent versus culture. Talent versus culture. Which wins championships? I'm going to start with you, Brandon. Talent versus culture. Which one wins championships?
I'm going to switch gears here on you, Joseph. So I just talked a lot about talent and the importance of it. But I think if you're going to succeed long term, you got to have culture. I'm going to bring up two guys, and Joseph, don't kill me, because one of them is your favorite. And I love and respect him. Rest in peace to the great Kobe Bryant. But I'm going to bring up
Don't disrespect
Kobe Bryant.
Don't disrespect.
But Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant were pretty much peers, came around the league the same time. And I think we could all agree that the most talented of the two was Kobe Bryant. But there was a lot more inconsistency with his team success. And it wasn't all due to Kobe. There were a lot of factors around that. But I believe what the Spurs had, in large part because of Duncan, was a culture. Greg Popovich talked about the fact that he could coach Duncan harder than anybody else on the team, which allowed him to coach the other guys. If he could yell at the best player, then I could definitely yell at the 10th man. And I think long-term culture is going to get you that, just beat out the talent. But at the end of the day, both guys had 4 or 5 rings, so it's close. But
wait a minute, Brandon. Wait a minute. You called out Kobe Bean Bryant.
I did.
8-24, the Black Mamba.
The Mamba.
Now, I want to get this. I want to make sure we're on the same page with this. You just said Tim Duncan, and I respect. He's what they call him, the big.
The fundamental.
The fundamental.
Big fundamental.
Yeah.
Big
the boring. Right. Whatever.
Listen, don't disrespect Tim Duncan. I like
it's
Tim
true,
Duncan.
but
both of them. How many championships did Tim Duncan have?
So Timmy had 5,
and the Kobe Bean Bryant
had 5.
5.
Yeah.
All right. I want to listen. As far as I'm concerned, Timmy was great.
Yeah.
Kobe's almost the best.
So quickly, top 10. Are they both in the top 10?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I
I
think
think
so
so.
too.
Blair,
Kobe, yeah, yeah, yeah. They have to be.
Yeah.
They have to be.
yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
I agree. Let me jump in. So I will agree
Mhm.
with you that talent may get attention, but culture sustains championship teams. All right.
Mhm.
Um, and I know we want to talk about culture. Blair's gonna jump in with
Oh,
the
please don't.
the
Don't
freezers.
say it, Blair.
I'm talking about. I'm sorry, the Miami Heat.
Actually,
The
you
lukewarm.
couldn't be more wrong. So I was thinking about this because talking about heat culture, that's
Right,
easy to do,
right, right.
because everyone knows about it. I'll just say that all started when they used to call it 15 strong, and I'll just stop there. I was thinking about this the other day, because right now I'm a Florida Panthers fan. I can like hockey, and I will say when you talk about culture versus talent, what was it, 4 seasons ago, the Panthers had the highest scoring team
Mm-hmm,
in the NHL,
mm-hmm,
number one in the conference and everything, top seed. And they, everyone thought, oh man, they're going to just wipe everyone out of the playoffs. Well, they lost, what was it? If my memory serves properly, it was the semifinals, but don't hold me to that. They didn't even make it out of past the semifinals. With the highest
mm-hmm,
scoring team, they got just beaten. And then here comes new coach and the same GM, and they change the way they think. They're like, let's get rid of the best player, a guy who scored all these goals, and let's trade him for Matthew Tkachuk, a guy who's more, people call him a goon, but
Mhm.
he's really blue collar kind of player. He comes in, they bring likewise minded guys who all kind of see things the same way, and they kind of change to being more defensive, yet they still score, but they changed the way they do things, and they all bought into this way that Paul Maurice, their coach,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
decided to play. And the final results are they're in the NHL playoffs for 3 consecutive years, winning 2 in a row.
Mhm.
And um, the culture there was they had the talent. They had don't get me wrong, they had a whole lot of talent. I mean, top to bottom, 4 lines were probably better than many other teams' top line. So, um, I still say culture is a big thing, but I will then also say, you can't replace talent because as of this year, believe it or not, the Panthers are not. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're like third from the bottom in the Eastern
Mhm.
Conference,
Mm-hmm.
and they've had every single player that pretty much injured. Their best player, Alexander Barkov, he's out for the season. He might come back, but they're not going to make the playoffs, so he's not going to see it. So when you lose your talent and you use a lot of it, no matter what you have, it's not going to come back and help you. No culture is going to help you win. I mean, Bill Zito's built a great team, but you just can't overcome the loss of talent. You just can't.
So, can a great coach change a team's identity in one season?
I mean, Brandon was talking about it the other day when he mentioned the Patriots, right, Brandon? I
Yeah.
mean,
Mike Vrabel.
yeah.
Mike Vrabel, and look, I'm also a Titans fan, y'all, and so it's been a rough year for your boy when it comes to sports. The Grizzlies and the Titans is bad, but Vrabel was a good coach. He was, I think, a little immature, maybe power hungry. So I wasn't upset that he lost a job, but I give him credit. He did his homework while he was out of work. I think he took on some lower level jobs to really hone in and observe the league and become a better leader. And look, the Patriots had a very soft schedule, but he clearly changed the culture and atmosphere there. I look at Ben Johnson with Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
I
great
mean,
example.
guy
Great
who
example.
learned from Dan Campbell, who came into a terrible situation and turned it around,
Yeah,
and has taken a quarterback who we were all kind of worried about, and now looks like he's maybe a generational type talent. So I do think coaching can make a huge difference. NBA Mitch Johnson with Spurs, give him credit. The guy with the Suns,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
Suns were terrible.
yeah,
With maybe you had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker on that team, and
yeah.
you got rid of Durant and you replaced him with our favorite, head case, Dylan Brooks, and they become so much of a better team because he's been able to get that buy-in and leadership. So culture matters a lot. I think there's a ceiling to it. Again, the talent has to win the game, but the
Yeah.
coaches and the preparation and the adjustments could certainly have an impact.
So I definitely agree with everything you said. You as well, Blair. I'm gonna say this. You called out verbal, right? I think it's two things that he exemplifies: strong leadership and clear expectations. I
Mhm.
think if you play under him, you get strong leadership and clear expectations, and that
That's a
is
bar there, Joseph.
always. Yeah, say it again, Brandon.
That's a bar there.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, those two can reshape teams' identity real quickly, real quickly, even corporately. I mean, we've been on leadership like that, strong leadership and and clear expectations, because you never want to be running around like you don't know the mission, you don't know the vision, you don't know what's going on. And I think Vrabel's a great example of that. Blair, I'm gonna pick on you for a minute because you hit on this, but I want to go back to this real quick. I want to go back to this. Um, you said something about the heat culture. Something happened recently. I'm sure that you want to jump on. We couldn't go this first episode without mentioning it. So something happened. Some gentleman scored uh, 83 points. Kobe scored how many?
I'll let you tell them.
81, 81, 81. So go
I
ahead,
I
Blair.
know it's burning in
We're
your
gonna,
heart.
we're
You
gonna
need some
hit.
Tums.
We're gonna give you your one shining moment. All right, NCAA moment. Go ahead, Mister.
Well, so let me just say this. I was reading. I mentioned to it earlier that in the New York Post they actually had an article that Keshad Johnson, had written for them about Bam. And just to summarize real quick, it's really that he was talking about his leadership and how they're like, man, you know, you're playing like phenomenal, basically. And they're like, what's the next record? So they're like, okay, 31 points. That's the most that I've ever by a Heat player. 43. That's your your season, your all-time season high or
Yeah.
game high. What's the
Mhm.
next one? Okay, like 60. Okay, so they just kept going, and I will tell you early on because I watched the replay of the game. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it live, but I watched the replay. And early on in the game, he was dominant. He was playing within the game, within the flow of the game. But I gotta tell you, at the end, man, I was getting annoyed because honestly, I mean, yeah, I was like rooting for him, and I wasn't rooting for him to beat Kobe. I was just rooting for him to get the 70. And I kept texting guys, "Hey, 70." And then until Parker here mentioned Kobe, it didn't even come into my mind. But I gotta tell you, at the end, the defense was laughable. I mean, Bam was even saying, at the start he was getting other guys involved, but then they were trying to feed him the ball. And then he even said to them at some point, this is what I admire him for, saying, "Hey, stop fouling the other guys to get me more possessions." So, you know, I will say whether it was Bam or any other player, of his job with the Grizzlies, I would be, wow, that's an amazing thing to score 83 points, no matter how you did it. I just wish the state of defense and the way it is today isn't what it is. It's very lax. It's very porous. We used to all have a coach that our kids used to play for, and one of his big thing was hands down, man down. So if you're on defense and you're not playing with your hands up, you're basically playing with four guys. And I saw so many guys when Bang would take a 3-pointer had their hands down. No wonder he hit 7 of them.
Right,
So
right, right,
I'm
right.
not taking anything away from him. I think it's amazing. I think it's great for the game. I think records were meant to be broken. I just wish it was during a different time. And it's just the sentimental, nostalgic, kind of old guy mentality, 80s and 90s when people play defense. That would be a heck of a feat. But you know, I celebrate it no matter who it would have been, and I do put internally, not against Bam, an asterisk against Bam. in my mind, I put an asterisk. Just it's today's game, though. Could he have done it 20 years when Kobe did it? I seriously don't think anybody could, honestly.
Yeah.
Could Kobe have done it today? Man, Kobe probably would have scored 183 points. It's just.
Now you're talking right. Now you're talking right. I'm gonna say this, Blair. I'm applaud you. I'm gonna applaud you because Blair has never said anything close to that when we talk. But I'm proud, Blair. I am proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I'm the cynic of the three of us. I'm always the one that
I'm proud of you.
Oh man, he only got that because it's an amazing feat. I just wish it had been done under different.
Man, that defense was horrible.
It was. I mean, at one point, yes, they had three guys trying to stop them at half court, but then
with a minute left.
Yeah.
What were you doing the other 40 seconds? Look, here's how I look at it, guys.
Yeah.
I think if you score, Blair's the one who told us Bam has 31 points in the first quarter.
Right.
My immediate thought was you got to get 50.
Yeah.
I don't care what.
Yeah.
Once you get 50, get 60.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get 60, all bets are off. If there's enough time, you need to go for guys. It's an NBA regular season game in March.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so did the way it looked feel a little unseemly? It often does. I mean, David Robinson, when he scored 71, I think the same thing happened. His team was fouling on purpose.
They fed the ball. I remember
this does happen in these high-scoring games occasionally.
Yeah.
But to me, the true villains are the Washington Wizards.
Oh, God, yes.
For one, they are a terrible franchise, terrible team.
Yeah.
Secondly, I think they probably had the Miami flu. They had to have gone out the night before and just stayed out till 5 in the morning.
Wait a minute, Brandon. Clarify what is the Miami flu?
So the Miami flu. So there's certain cities, guys, where you get the flu, right? Los Angeles, Miami, Atlanta, New York. You might throw Chicago in there too. You guys get the flu. They're gonna hang out all night. They're gonna go to their club of choice. And they may stay there and spend thousands of dollars. And I'm pretty sure the Wizards did something like that. And they didn't play any defense. And they didn't try to do anything different. What was the coach doing? You think about playing a zone or shading somebody towards Bam or because when you look at Bam's stats, I think he was hot from 3 in the first quarter, but after that he was not.
Yeah.
So let him shoot the ball from 30 feet and, try to protect the paint. The Wizards are the true villains. That's what I want to say. I think the beauty of Kobe's games, the aesthetics of his game, the fact that I think that game was relatively close means that his game is going to be maybe more meaningful. But congrats to Bam for the record and getting 83. I don't blame him one bit. And with the way things are going, just like Blair said, I could see an SGA, a Wemby, a Luka get hot enough to where they could approach 80 points too. It's going to be super hard. You got to be on fire to do it. And I think you're all because of the way the Wizards are going to be treated, you're going to see flagrant fouls if somebody tries to do it again. But and the only thing I would say about Kobe has 61 or 62 and 3/4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he had gone for it then.
Me too. And I just saw a story about it that he took himself out and said, "No, we'll get another time."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this: let's not forget. Y'all know I love the Warriors. However, Steve Kerr messed up history. I believe, possibly, because do y'all remember when Klay Thompson got hot? I mean, do 3 quarters. He had what, 60 or 50 something?
54 something. But he was incredible. Yeah.
It was, he was hot. He had a good night. I mean, all systems would go. And he took him out, and I don't know, I have to do more research about that. But man, you gotta leave him in. You gotta let him go for it. Like you said, if you can get 50, go for it. If you can get 60, go for it. So that's my take on that. All right, guys. All right. The next segment, everybody, that we're gonna have is gonna be entitled rapid replay. All right. It's going to be quick hitters. All right, Blair. No dissertations right now. All right.
No
Rapid.
soliloquies.
So, oh my.
You
Wait a
up.
minute.
I'm
What is
writing
that?
you up, Joseph.
Oh my
3
God.
out of 5.
Oh my God. All right. Who is and we're gonna get more into that in tonight's show. Join us tonight at 7:30 for episode 2. All right. Yeah, we're gonna give you 2 shows on the first day. But I want to ask this, Blair, you first, and Brandon, you follow up immediately. Who is the best team in the tournament right now, NCAA tournament?
So I always tell people when you look at the brackets, there's your heart and there's your head. My heart says Duke, my head says Arizona. And I'll just say this: 9 out of 15 folks on ESPN who do their brackets have all chosen Arizona.
All right, Brandon.
Yep. The best team I've seen play this year is Arizona. They got the senior point guard with the experience, just a ton of talent, both inside and shooting wise. So I'm going with the Wildcats.
So I'm gonna agree. This may be the first and only time us 3 all agree on a hot take like this.
But here's the thing: Jay Billis picked Arizona, so they're not going to win.
Wow. Former Duke. Blair, that's 2, man. You done it twice.
That's 2 tonight.
Jay has killed me over the years on my brackets. I kind of follow. I'm like, Jay knows.
I think we're winning him over, Brandon. I think we're
Jay
winning him over.
know. Jay
North Carolina coming soon.
Yeah. So okay. Man. Just so we're all picking Arizona. I'm gonna throw this one to you. I want you to pick your second best team that you would pick. Go Blair.
Oh, so I probably would have said Michigan, but Purdue handed it to them. I mean, they didn't whoop them, but they won the the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
So I would have said Michigan. Geez, I'm so conflicted because I say Duke, but they've got injuries to Gongba and
guard,
the other guard, like on his name. But anyways, I'm gonna have to go out on a limb and say Florida, man. Even though they lost the SEC, which that was a whole mess of a tournament, surprises. But I don't know, just culture there. We talked about it. Prior winner culture.
Yeah,
that would be my bold prediction.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, it rarely works out this way with the hot team in the conference tournament, but I'm going to keep an eye out on Arkansas. I like the point guard, man, as a freshman. I think they got some experience on the team with their size. They got a lot of athleticism. And, Cal is I'm not going to say he's underrated as a coach, but I think when he has the right ingredients, he always gets his guys to play hard. So I'm going to say the Hogs may have a chance.
Wow. So actually, I was thinking about both of those two. Florida, although I agree with you, Blair, although they lost during the SEC tournament, it was a wacky kind of time. Seemingly, I think they may have gotten the loss out of their system because, at this point, it's going to go home.
Okay.
So Florida, and y'all could give me I'm agree as well, man. Acuff? Oh my God,
seriously,
man. Yeah, man. NCAA tournament. Brandon, you said this best one time. It is you have to have guards.
Yes,
and that's the one player, man. If he's the one guy that I say, hey, go get me a bucket, go get me a basket.
Yeah,
and if it's close. He's his new age. Would y'all agree? He's his new age, Derrick Rose. I mean,
he's not as athletic, but he's a ball player. Right. And don't forget the other freshman, Thomas, on that team. He's a good guard too.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I agree.
And even look at the South region for Florida. Man, I'm looking at it now. I don't see a whole lot of Houston. Yeah, that's. Other than that, I don't see anything really stopping Florida out of that division or out of that regional.
Yeah,
I want to throw one more at you. Rapid replay. Top seed you trust the least right now?
Duke. Man, I've been slamming them tonight, haven't I? Man, I better get my.
Let's get
my
Brandon.
I'm in shock.
I'm in shock too.
Yeah, it's not a bad call there, Blair. I think injuries,
Injuries.
man. Their point guard was kind of their heart and
Yeah.
soul. And I know the other Boozer kid is a pretty decent player, but his role's getting a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And Shire needs to win one. He's got the best
Yeah.
talent every year. He's yet to get it. So I mean, guys, think about this. Who are the two rookie of the best rookies in the NBA this year? By far.
The two Duke guys. Them
Yeah.
Duke boys.
Flag and
Yeah,
Knipple,
that's
man.
true.
Like
That's true.
you lost the
Yeah.
chip with
Yeah.
those two
Yeah. Yeah.
guys.
I
And
know.
Malawach, who
Yeah.
was a lottery pick. So you got to start winning, man. But I'd agree with you, Blair.
You agree with? So for me, it's gonna be Michigan.
Mm.
Believe it or not, I've watched them. Y'all know I'm a Michigan
Yeah,
guy.
I like
Oh
the
man, I'm a
Wolverines.
Michigan
Yeah.
guy. Back in the day, the first baggy
Fab
shorts, black
Five. Yep.
socks, Fab Five,
Yeah.
plus the five, and then in the next 3 years, Fab Four plus the Fife, right?
Dugan Fife.
But Dugan Fife. But for me, gotta be Michigan because I think when I look at that region, and we're gonna get more into this tonight. Tune in at 7:30. Um, Iowa State,
Mm.
Iowa State. They can maybe have a date with Iowa State, and
Tough.
that's a team. Yeah, they got a tough out.
Mhm.
They got a tough out. So that's what I would say about that. So it's time for the final whistle. The final whistle. All right, we're almost done, guys, with our first episode. The final whistle. Um, what leadership lesson from sports stands out most to you, Brandon? Like in a corporate setting or real life?
Yeah, I think Joseph, it's really about leadership setting the tone, being the example, and understanding and anticipating their talent and what they bring to the table and where they need help. And so I go back again with the Grizzlies, and I think they were in a unique situation. Really good. I think their front office is really good. They've had some issues for sure, but I think they're a good front office. But I think they misidentified the best way to treat their star player. I
Okay.
think they felt by coddling, by
Yeah.
allowing the player to have a lot of things that comforted the player, that was the best way to go. And I think what they found is that it bit them in the butt. I think when you
Yeah.
think about the family of Ja, I think they're good people, but I think they took advantage of some opportunities with the team. And I think not addressing some of his troubling behavior head on when they started to see
Yeah.
it and not getting
Mhm.
him some vets early and
Yeah.
keeping him there,
Yeah.
I think caused a
Yeah.
problem. And you see that in a corporate setting too sometimes where the leadership is not able to discipline, correct, and handle the talent.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a
Yeah.
lot of good people, but if they're breaking policies, if they're doing things that are unfair and inequitable, well, that's going to have an
Yeah.
effect on your culture and I think your long term success. And so I'm a believer that you build with character, that you take the
Yeah.
talent, you mold it to do the right things and develop it to grow in the right way. Because if you're a little off with that, you're going to have problems long term. And
Mhm.
I've seen that in my corporate life. I've been working in corporate America for 20 plus years, and I've certainly seen it in sports of many teams. But I would say the Grizzlies are one that is painful to see,
Mhm.
but I definitely think they missed an opportunity.
Yeah,
Blair, what
yeah.
about you?
I'd
What-
say it's that, and it's also understanding. We've been talking about talent for most of the show. It's understanding the talent that you have. So I'll use, Harbaugh, Jim, the Chargers. My other team. Um, one of the things is as a manager, especially if you're a new manager, you come into a new setting, a new department. You got to understand what they call the current condition. How do things operate today, and why are they either successful or not successful? Harbaugh came in. He saw, well, this team is defensive oriented under Staley, uh, lacking big time on the offensive side, even with all the talent they have. And then he said, I've got some guys that are great defenders, Joey Boza, but they're not the guys I need. He said, I need talent, and the talent that I have that works my system, I got to change it up. So he lets a great player, even though he's oft injured, he lets Joey Bosa go, doesn't get his contract renewed. And he brings in new guys. And he, while everyone's through his first year saying, oh, we need wide receivers, we need this, we need someone for, Herbo to throw to, he goes and selects Joe Alt. And I will tell you, Harbaugh's proven, even he's gotten more wins in these last 2 seasons. They've just been devastated by injuries, but he's realized what's worked for the Chargers is build both sides of the line. And when we were successful early on, we had a healthy line. And then we watched Rashawn Slater go down right before the start of the season. And then Joe Alt got hurt later. And then they're just rotating guys in. And if you follow what they've done in their offseason, they've let defensive linemen go and they brought in other ones. And they're going to draft more offensive and defensive line. They even brought in a new guy at center. So where I'm going with all this is that you got to know your talent. If you have a system and you've seen what has had been in place and doesn't work, you have your system.
Yeah.
You got to now staff it with the right people. You got to bring in the right people. It's the same thing that we've all dealt with. You have high turnover in a department. To be successful, get the right folks in.
Yep, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna just tag along because you guys, to me, have summed it up. But if I can say this, for me, it would be accountability. I'm gonna say accountability because championship teams, in my opinion, in the sports realm as well as a corporate or any team for that matter, championship teams push each other to meet high standards. I believe championship teams push each other to meet high standards. So that means accountability. It was something great. I was watching the game the other night, and it was a freshman. It was, matter of fact, Blair, you're gonna be proud of me. It was Duke. It was Duke, and they have some challenges going on, but the freshmen they're grown up. They were talking about how they've grown up, and I mean, one of the freshmen was getting into a vet's face. Like, hey, you missed a defensive assignment. And so accountability was standing right there in front of our face. And I will say, again, what leadership lesson from sports stands out most? Accountability.
Amen.
Accountability. We've seen it. You all, again, we're corporate guys. So we've seen it in corporate. We've seen it in other teams we've been on. You remember when we pull up once and our lives play sports, so our children play sports, a lack of accountability a lot of times sends you home early. There are a lot of teams who are, for example, could be more talented than some teams that are in NCAA tournament right now. But lack of accountability is one of the things that cause them cause them to miss it. I mean, so that's what I would say. Blair, look like you want to jump in.
No, I'm good, Joseph. I mean, I totally agree with you. And I find it fun. I keep calling you Joseph or Parker, but not one or the other. It's always one or the other. But I'm good. I mean, we've got it all kind of laid out, and I'm just thinking as I'm sitting here, when you were talking about those freshmen, I was trying to figure out which one it was, but not watching the game. But it sounds like, again, that goes right back also to the culture. So, it's so many things that just takes to win.
Absolutely. Listen, this has been the first episode. We're closing it down now of what? The culture of the game. That's the final whistle again for the first episode of the culture of the game. You see the ticker down there. We want you to follow us on IG, on Instagram, T-Cot the game on IG, Instagram. So subscribe to this channel. You're watching us on YouTube, of course, right now. We want you to subscribe. Again, listen, thank you for tuning in for our first episode. Tune in tonight. Listen, I know somebody's going to be at work watching. Don't tell them they're going to be watching some games today. All right, it's the first day of the NCAA tournament. What are you doing?
83.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. The next game, how many did you have?
But hey, it was a record. Well, second place.
Right. Listen, seriously, thank you all for joining us for, again, the first episode of the Culture of the Game. Listen, we want to see you tonight, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, thank you for joining us tonight on today. We'll see you tonight.
Peace.